Cinemassacre's Monster Madness. Okay, this is going to be a fun one. Today we have a double feature. In the 30s, Universal made 3 films based on the stories of Edgar Allan Poe. The first was Murders in the Rue Morgue, starring Bela Lugosi, a film which owed a lot to the German Expressionist era, like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. But the 2 movies I want to discuss are The Black Cat and The Raven. It's impossible to talk about one without talking about the other. They both star Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff, and for each actor, it's one of their best performances. The Black Cat was the first movie they starred in together. Lugosi plays Dr. Vitas Vertigast, who just got out of a horrible prison camp where he says the soul is killed slowly. So he's basically insane and out for revenge against the man responsible, Perlzig, played by Karloff. He's a devil worshipper who likes to keep the bodies of dead girls in glass cases. His first appearance in the movie just shows his distinct silhouette, and in his first scenes barely says a word. It lets you know how seriously badass he is, and it's a great introduction. Perlzig stole Vertigast's wife, killed her, and then married Vertigast's daughter, so there's no reason not to consider him his enemy. These men hate each other's guts and just want to rip each other to shreds, but there's one thing slowing them down. There's innocent honeymooners staying at the house who just happen to have the bad luck of getting caught up in the whole mess. Furthermore, Perlzig wants to sacrifice the poor girl to Satan. Vertigast wants to fight for the girl's freedom, and it all slowly escalates into a struggle to the death.
That's what I'm going to do to you now. Tear the skin from your body. Slowly. Bit by bit.
Both performances are outstanding. Lugosi has a lot of haunting monologues. He communicates so well with his eyes and savors every line spoken. Karloff's always got that shit-eating grin with his commanding presence. He asks for no sympathy, like in Frankenstein or even The Mummy. Here, he's just a bad motherfucking epitome of evil in its dirtiest and most unpussified form. The architecture of Perlzig's home is so surreal, we believe that we're inside his world. The most misleading aspect to the whole film is that it really has nothing to do with the Poe story. There is a black cat in the film, but it has little to do with the plot. However, the idea of a black cat as the symbol of evil sort of sets the mood for the whole film.
He has an intense and all-consuming horror of cats.
With all its implications of torture, rape, necrophilia, and Satanism, it's no wonder why this movie was so shocking in 1934. Next came The Raven in 1935. Lugosi plays a surgeon named Dr. Valen, who's obsessed with the writings of Poe, particularly The Raven, again the symbol of death, which he describes as his talisman. Essentially, Valen is a hero. He saves lives. When a young woman, Jane's brought to his care after suffering a near-fatal car crash, Valen is the only doctor skilled enough to save her. But with a great genius comes great ambitions. Valen falls in love with her. The father tells him to stay away and respect her happiness. But Valen feels betrayed, that they owe him for saving Jane's life. So what happens? He goes mad. All he wants now is to torture the father and the potential husband using a swinging axe. It's inspired by yet another Poe story, The Pit and the Pendulum. But to capture his victims, he enlists the help of a criminal named Edmund Bateman, and that's where Karloff comes in. Bateman wants the doctor to change his face. Valen agrees, but it's only part of his evil plan. He ruins half of Bateman's face and promises only to fix it if he helps him carry out his vile scheme. So it's like the roles are reversed. Like in Black Cat, both characters are bad, but Lugosi this time is the real villain. Both actors reenact some of their most famous trademarks. Lugosi's demented facial expressions, and Karloff even does the Frankenstein monster growl. The reason why this movie's worth seeing so much is because of Lugosi. He's at his best when he's playing over-the-top maniacal villains.
What are you trying to do to me?
Torture you.
Oh, try to be sane, Valen.
I am the sanest man who ever lived. But I will not be tortured. I tear torture out of myself by torturing you.
I really think this is his best performance. Yep, even better than Dracula. He makes you feel what he's going through. He's not just a bad guy who does bad things just because he's evil.
I like to torture.
Dracula, or even Perlzik from The Black Cat, are evil characters that do horrible things. Dr. Valen is just a frustrated psychopath who can't control his emotions. It doesn't justify the things he does, but it makes you accept that there's no limits to how over the top he can act. You just believe, sure, he's out of his mind. And I think it's a clever way to take the poem and turn it into a feature film. The story of the Raven, the longing for the lost Lenore, is personified in Dr. Valen. He has to go through the same torment that Poe went through. One great thing about these two Lugosi-Karloff Poe films is the runtime. The Black Cat is only 1 hour and 5 minutes, and The Raven is 1 hour and 1 minute. So there you go, you can watch both of them in the same amount of time as it usually takes to watch one single movie nowadays. So check them out.